All right, let's talk about finding a great dog trainer right here in St. Mary's County. This is going to be a really practical guide to help you find the perfect fit for you and your dog. So picture this. You're walking your dog down FDR Boulevard. How are they doing? Are they cool and collected with all the cars and people, or is it a bit of a struggle? That's what we're talking about today, getting that real-world confidence so you and your dog can really enjoy everything St. Mary's has to offer, together.
Okay, so here's what we're going to walk through. We'll start with why local training matters, then get into your goals, how to pick the right trainer, what you should ask them, and finally, some great spots around town to practice.
First up, training for St. Mary's Life. It really does make a difference to have someone who gets our local area and its unique quirks. See, good training isn't just about learning sit and stay inside four walls. It's about getting your dog ready for the real world here. We're talking about handling the traffic on MD 235, the bustle of shopping centers, or even just a quiet neighborhood walk when a surprise delivery truck rumbles past.
So, thinking about those local situations, let's nail down your goals. It is so much easier to find the right help when you know exactly what you're aiming for before you even start your search. One of the first things to think about is group class or private lessons. Group classes are awesome for getting your dog comfortable around other dogs, and they're usually a bit easier on the wallet. But if you've got specific issues, maybe stuff happening right at home, that one-on-one attention from private lessons can be a lifesaver.
Take a look at this list. I bet some of these sound familiar, right? Maybe it's the leash pulling, or the jumping on guests, or just getting the puppy basics down. Just pinpointing what you want to work on is a really big step in the right direction.
Okay, so you've got your goals. Now for the big question. How do you choose the right person for the job? We'll break it down into 3 things to look for: their credentials, their training methods, and of course, the cost.
You're probably going to see a bunch of letters after a trainer's name. So let's break one down. If you see CPDTKA, that means they've passed a pretty tough standardized test. It's a good sign they really know their stuff when it comes to dog behavior and how dogs actually learn.
And here's another one you'll see a lot: KPCTP. This one tells you they graduated from a really intensive program that's all about positive reinforcement. So right off the bat, you get a pretty good idea of their whole approach to training.
And that brings us to the method itself. Positive reinforcement is all about teaching your dog what you want them to do by rewarding them when they do it. It's a great way to build their confidence, which is exactly what you need for handling everyday life here in St. Mary's.
Now let's talk about cost, because that's always a factor. For a group class that runs for, say, 4 to 6 weeks here in the California area, you're typically looking at something in this ballpark.
And if you go the private lesson route for that really focused help, a single session usually falls around this price point. Now keep in mind, if they come to your house, it might be a little higher, but then you get to work on problems right where they happen.
Okay, you've done your research, you've got a short list. Now it's time to actually talk to these trainers. And really, you should think of it like a little interview. You want to make sure it's a good match for both you and your dog.
So here are 5 really good questions to have ready, and I want you to pay close attention to that last one. A great trainer doesn't just work with your dog, they teach you how to keep the training going. It really is a partnership.
And that leads us perfectly into our last section. Once you and your trainer start making progress, the next step is to take those skills out on the road, so to speak, and practice in the real world.
And we have some amazing places to do that here. A favorite spot has to be Greenwell State Park. It's just got so many different types of spaces to work in. The trick is to use the park to your advantage. Those big open fields, perfect for practicing come on a long leash, and the wooded trails are fantastic for working on loose leash walking, especially with all those tempting smells around.
Another great option, and especially if you're closer to Leonardtown, is St. Mary's River State Park.
This park is really good for a whole other set of skills. You've got that big 7.5-mile loop, which means you'll probably run into other hikers and bikers. A great chance to practice polite greetings. Plus, it's perfect for building up your dog's focus and stamina on longer walks.
And hey, while we're talking about being out in our beautiful parks, just a friendly reminder about our local leash law. Basically, your dog needs to be on a leash or right there with you, under your control, whenever you're in a public space. It's just about keeping everyone safe and being a good neighbor.
Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It's not just about commands. It's about building a confident, happy companion who can go anywhere with you here in St. Mary's County. We hope this helps you on your training journey. Having that well-behaved dog just makes everything, from a walk around the block to having friends over, so much more enjoyable for everybody.